President Donald Trump told John Deere leaders he would change the financial landscape if they moved manufacturing out of the United States.
I just noticed behind me John Deere tractors. I know a lot about John Deere. I love the company. But as you know, they've announced a few days ago that they're going to move a lot of their manufacturing business to Mexico. I'm just notifying John Deere right now. If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything that you want to sell into the United States.
That was Donald Trump publicly threatening a 200% tariff on John Deere after they shut down another U.S. plant and moved to Mexico. But this isn't just a trade dispute. Behind Deere's move is a deeper story of collapsing supply chains, global rivals, and a looming automation wave that could wipe out millions of American jobs. John Deere just made a big decision. It's shutting down part of its factory in Iowa and moving that work to Mexico. By 2026, a new plant in Ramos Arizpe will start building mid-size skid steer loaders and compact track loaders. These aren't small tools, they're essential for farms and construction across America. Deere says this move helps them cut costs and keep up with growing demand. But here's the problem. This shift affects U.S. workers directly, and it's happening fast. While Deere claims it's only a small part of production, it still means fewer jobs at home. And it's not just one plant. This could be the start of a bigger trend. So why would an iconic American company risk a political firestorm just to shift a few machines south of the border? It all comes down to money and strategy. In Mexico, factory workers earn about 70% less than workers in the U.S., which means Deere can save millions every year just on labor. But it's not only about wages. The new plant in Ramos Arizpe gives Deere easier access to fast-growing markets in Latin America, especially countries like Brazil and Argentina, where farming is booming. Plus, with U.S. ports still facing delays and supply chains under pressure, building in Mexico helps Deere ship products faster and cheaper. It's a smart move on paper, but it also sends a loud message. Cost cutting matters more than keeping jobs local. The big question is, at what point does saving money start costing a brand its identity? And to fully understand Deere's decision, you have to look beyond wages, to the broken system they're leaving behind. John Deere isn't just moving to Mexico for cheap labor, it's also trying to escape a broken system. Right now, U.S. supply chains are a mess. Ports are backed up, shipping times are unpredictable, and factories are still dealing with parts shortages and labor issues. According to a March 2025 report from Drury, port congestion in the U.S. is still 25% worse than it was before the pandemic. That slows everything down from building machines to getting them into farmers' hands. By building in Mexico, Deere gets faster shipping, more flexible logistics, and easier access to both North and South American markets. It's about speed, stability, and survival. But while Deere is building up speed, Trump is building up pressure. So what happens when politics crashes headfirst into global logistics? And that pressure came fast. Just days after Deere's Mexico plans made headlines, Donald Trump stepped in with a threat that shook the business world. Standing in front of a crowd of farmers, he called out John Deere by name and warned of a 200% tariff on every piece of equipment they build outside the United States. This wasn't just tough talk, it was a clear line in the sand. Trump's message was loud. If you move American jobs abroad, you'll pay the price. And for his base, especially in rural states, it was a rallying cry. But this isn't the first time Trump has used tariffs as a weapon. Back in 2018, his trade war with China led to higher prices, lost markets, and over 300,000 U.S. jobs wiped out, according to the Federal Reserve. So now the question is, will this new tariff threat help protect American jobs, or will it backfire all over again? While Trump fired off warnings, John Deere didn't back down, not even a little. There was no apology, no corporate spin, and no sudden change of plans. Instead, Deere stood firm. The company explained that only a small part of its North American production was moving, less than 5% to be exact. Most of their big equipment would still be built in factories across Iowa and Illinois. In other words, they weren't abandoning the U.S., they were expanding smartly to stay competitive. Deere's leadership made it clear this wasn't about turning their back on American workers. It was about keeping the company strong in a global economy. But not everyone bought it. Some critics say Deere is playing with fire, challenging Trump directly, and risking a backlash from the same communities they've served for decades. So the question now is, did Deere just make a smart business move or a massive political mistake? The fallout came fast. In rural communities where John Deere is more than just a brand, it's a symbol. Opinions split. Some farmers felt betrayed, worried that moving jobs abroad would hurt their towns and livelihoods. Others shrugged it off, saying as long as the machines still work, business goes on. The media had its own take. Conservative outlets called Deere's move tone deaf, accusing them of turning their back on American values. But in the financial world, it was business as usual. Deere's stock dropped slightly after Trump's threat, but bounced back quickly once the company clarified its plans. Bloomberg called the move pragmatic, and investors backed it. One Morgan Stanley analyst summed it up best: markets don't care about speeches, they care about strategy. But this gap between public anger and market calm is growing wider, and it raises a new question. In today's economy, who really decides what's patriotic, voters or shareholders? While Trump fires warnings and headlines rage, John Deere is fighting a very different battle against global giants that are catching up fast. In India, Mahindra is now the world's largest tractor maker by volume, flooding markets with affordable, durable machines. In Japan, Kubota continues to expand into Europe and the US, offering compact equipment at prices Deere struggles to match. According to 2025 data from Statista, Mahindra exports over 40% more compact tractors to developing markets than Deere does. And as agriculture grows across Africa, Southeast Asia, and Latin America, these low-cost rivals are gaining ground fast. For Deere, standing still means falling behind. That's why the Mexico plant isn't just about saving money, it's about survival. But even if they outplay foreign rivals, can they win the battle back home, where politics might be their toughest competitor yet? While all eyes are on Mexico, the real job killer isn't south of the border, it's sitting quietly in every modern factory. Automation. John Deere has already invested billions into smart machines, AI systems, and autonomous farming tech. Their latest driverless tractor uses GPS cameras and artificial intelligence to plow, plant, and harvest fields without any humans on board. These machines don't get tired, don't call in sick, and don't need a paycheck. According to a 2025 report by Oxford Economics, robots could replace up to 20 million manufacturing jobs worldwide by 2030, and America is high on that list. In many of Deere's own U.S. factories, robots are already doing the heavy lifting, welding, painting, and assembling around the clock. So even if Trump forced every plant back to American soil, it wouldn't bring back thousands of jobs. It would bring in more machines. And this isn't just about Deere. It's the new reality for every major industry. The big question is no longer where jobs are going, but whether there will be any left to save. John Deere's decision isn't just a company move, it's a signal of where U.S. manufacturing is heading. The old playbook, build local, hire big, sell American, is being rewritten. Global rivals like Mahindra and Kubota are undercutting prices. Logistics are more global than ever, and automation is doing the work of entire teams. Manufacturing isn't just about steel and sweat anymore, it's about software, speed, and data. Today's factories are more like tech hubs than workshops. But this shift raises tough questions. Can American workers compete with robots? Should the government protect industries or push them to evolve? Some lawmakers are proposing tariffs, subsidies, and reshoring initiatives. Others say the real solution is training workers for a future powered by automation and clean technology. What's clear is that the stakes are rising. This isn't just about jobs, it's about industrial leadership, economic survival, and national pride. So the real question now is, will America adapt fast enough or be left behind in the race it once led? John Deere made its move. Trump fired back. But the real battle is bigger than both. It's about who controls the future of American industry. Subscribe for more sharp breakdowns and drop your take in the comments below.